guys, and welcome to another episode of Journey to Perfection, the Schematics talk show where we talk about things that we think Frontier should add or fix in Planet Coaster to make the game even better. But before we start, I want to introduce a new member of the team, Pieces of Prestige. Hey man.
Hey man, I'm great. Thanks for having me here. I just gotta say, it's awesome. Yeah.
Great to have you on board. Can you please introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, sure. My name is Brian, or Piece of Prestige, as some of you might know me. I do YouTube videos, and you can also follow me on Twitter. I have like the stupidest Twitter handle ever. It's at @dotc_Brian, but you'll see it on the screen, so that's so good. But yeah, that's me. And I make Planet Coaster videos, of course.
So you probably know me by now. I'm @4TV. I'm the host of the show. However, that could happen. You find my stuff on YouTube and Twitter, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Blind, and I stream video games on the internet. You can find me at twitch.tv/blindIRL.
Hey, I'm Lucas, also known as Free the Bear, and I do YouTube and Twitter, also playing Planet Coaster.
And I'm Sam. I am also known as Pharos online, and I do Twitch, YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter and all that stuff as well.
And he's currently stuck in school.
And yeah, I'm a bit MIA at the moment, but soon.
But making a glorious return.
Eventually.
Sooner rather than later. Yes.
So before we come to newer topics, we've got sort of correction from Alki regarding separate stations for load and unload. So basically, NDC from Frontier stated on Reddit, the way stations work is incredibly complicated. It would be a really large amount of work to do this. While a wonderful suggestion, it's not something we are planning at the moment. So I guess we can, forget about this feature in the near future.
Bow to me and say that I was right.
You know me, and I would never do that.
Yeah? Well,
starting with the first topic, which is my topic.
Yes.
You know that when you're building a ride and connecting the queue to the normal path, there is a point where an employee of the park is standing, and which makes totally sense if you pay money for a ride, in my opinion. But if the ride is free, like they are in normal theme parks, I don't really see the point of having an employee over there. So yeah, I would love to see if there's an option to remove the employee if the ride is free or.
Can I just be a devil's advocate here for a split second?
Oh, once again.
I'm just here to ruin your day, man. Like, you keep inviting me onto this show, and every single time, every time I open my mouth up, you're like, oh God, stop talking. Anyways. In Disneyland, in my experience, I've been to Disneyland in California 4 times in my life. Even almost every single ride, especially larger rides that often have a lot of traffic, always have 1 or 2 employees just hanging out, kind of making sure that traffic, like human traffic, doesn't get super thick or messed up or problematic. Making sure people are in the right line, making sure people are going down the fast pass line, making sure people are doing the right thing and not getting confused. So I understand what you're saying. It makes some sense for certain ride types, I would say. But for bigger roller coasters, if the roller coasters are free, I still think you should probably have a line. Or if there's a fast pass line in the queue, it just makes logical sense to me to have an employee there, especially if the ride is closed.
All right. Yeah. What I do want to say about that, of course, you need someone to make sure that, for instance, kids are the correct height for coasters and stuff. But what I do really get annoyed by is these gray kind of cylinders that are right there, on the edge, on the corners right there, and they turn red when the ride is closed, and they turn green when you open it, I believe. But I just really get annoyed by them. Now I know you can cover them up, but it's just a lot of hassle. I would more prefer it to be, connected to the ride, and then you could just have a toggle button on the ride setting somewhere, so that you can just turn off the employee / ride entrance thing, so that it just connects like a normal path. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but
I fully agree on that.
I mean, we've been asking for the gates to go away since they were like actual full gigantic ugly yellow
they were
things.
so bad.
yes. Oh,
So you know, we've been trying to get rid of the gates completely, and now you're just trying to get rid of the dude who's working there. You know, he's getting paid. It's a living. Like, it's just some poor minimum wage dude. Like, come on, man, let him feed his family. What do you guys got against the working man? I don't know. I think it'd be cool for certain ride types. For bigger rides, I think it's a little silly removing the person.
Maybe it's a thing for flat rides, but not for coasters.
Yeah.
But I mean,
The flat rides would be
there's
fun.
nothing wrong, but with the way to check or uncheck if you want to have a person there,
Yeah, true.
or not.
If they are there, can we at least give them a chair?
Yeah, but I would much rather like be able to place the actual employee somewhere so that you can actually like make it so that it, you know, suits the environment there.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes,
So you don't accidentally build like a wall on top of them or something.
yeah, exactly, or like a beam that sticks out through his head or something.
But when I went to Thorpe Park, I didn't see a single person standing outside an entrance. So
Depends on the theme park.
I just had them off. Yeah.
I guess it depends on how much money they have to pay people to stand around.
To be honest, I think I have seen quite a lot of parks where a person checking for height limits or something like that right before you enter a station, but not in the beginning of a queue. Which is kind of strange because imagine if you're standing in line for like 3 hours and there's a guy, sorry.
Too
no,
short.
You're not coming in, you're too short. I mean, rip.
From my own experience, taking Fantasyland as an example here, there were no operators whatsoever at the start of the queue, at least for Chiapas, but they were at the beginning of the queue, at the end of the queue, in the middle of the queue, and in the station from Tarrant. So it really depends on the ride.
Yeah, but you can fix that in Planet Coaster. You can like make the normal path connect to the main path, and then halfway through the queue, just change it into the queue path, and then, you know, the employee will stand there.
Yeah, but then you'll break the AI
Sort of.
and have like a really shitty tiny queue.
But if you're just doing it for aesthetics, I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, you got to remember there's all blocks of levels of players play this game, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm always the person arguing for the casual player, but like that's not an option for the casual player. So
Well, but what I think is they started off with a casual-friendly game, and more the whole community is evolving to getting more known with the game, and they can't just care for one or two people who will join in later. I think it's all right to go a little more complex, at least, with the age of the game.
I mean, I agree with you guys. Like, I like the detail stuff, but at the same time, like, I talk to a lot of casual players every day. I talk to a lot of people who've never played the game before. You know, like, maybe it's just my point of view.
I think there's nothing wrong by activating it by default, but give us a checkbox to turn it off.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I'm simply referring to Brian's fix of just, you know, building a pathway all the way up to the end.
Yeah, exactly. It just depends on what kind of player you are and like what you're playing the game for, of course.
Yes.
Sure. So moving on.
So the next one is my topic.
Who knew that would be such a long topic?
So my topic is auto-tunneling features for paths. So it was kind of possible in alpha via changing an off tag in the game config file, but it was buggy as hell. Why is it still not an option?
Fix it.
Honestly, I did not know about the change in the alpha. Does anybody know how the tunnel behaved? Did it like exactly suit the terrain to the bottom of the path, or was the path just floating in the tunnel?
I think it followed the path on the bottom bit.
Well, that would be amazing.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was basically the same or working the same way like Autotunnel for coasters and...
That's what I thought.
You know what I want now?
Oh, Lord.
I don't want Autotunnel. I want Automountain.
Yeah.
So when I build a pathway up, I want the ground to stick to it.
Ooh.
That would be great.
So you know, like with the terrain tool, when you can, like, you know, manipulate the terrain the way you want. What if it was just like an extension to the terrain tool, where it would just like basically glue the terrain to the pathways? So when you raise your pathway up, instead of having like this awkward like suspended thingy majigger in midair, it just like builds the ground to it, so then you can just like terraform out around it. No problem. Damn, I want that now. I'm sad.
I've seen some kind of DIY ways of doing that on Reddit before, where you build the mountain, place the path, flatten everything around the path, delete the path, place the path again or something, and it makes it a flat surface. But it's time consuming as fuck.
It's time consuming, and it's like half the time doesn't work properly. I think that's just a add it, Frontier. Please. We love you.
Okay, next one.
Next one is my topic, and this is blueprint, terrain, and paths. So ever since they added in the blueprint system, all the way back at the beginning of Alpha, it was always kind of a question, why can't we blueprint pathways? God damn it. And honestly, I think it would just be lovely. I don't know how the engine works. I don't know how anything works in this video game, honestly, but man, that would be nice.
Okay, so I think paths would be a great addition and kind of possible, but I don't know how it should work for terrain. If you want something like, okay, force this object to be at this height into the terrain, or if you export terrain with the blueprint and import it into a park, because that's really complex.
That sounds very hard.
What you'd have to do is you'd have to export it at the same level, I would assume.
But how would you define what area would be exported with the terrain? Because there's no selection for terrain.
Now you know how I feel. Blind.
Bah. That's literally all I can say.
Basically, if you have a brush tool, you could just like brush over an area that you want to save. It saves a blob in your blueprint, and when you then place it somewhere, like it would connect either to the terrain or would just float, and you could connect it yourself. But I think it would be possible to copy like the surface of the terrain in there, in the blueprint.
I think the only hard bit would be raising the terrain up and down at that point. But no, it's not that I feel like you Advo. I kind of agree with him, actually, that it might be really tricky. As I've said this before, and I we don't know how this game is programmed. We don't know if this is possible at all, but it's just something that would be really nice. At the very least, pathways.
Yeah, I totally can see the point that saving terrain could be really difficult to make. I don't see a point having an issue by saving path in a blueprint, because I have seen it quite some time, especially in the official live streams by Frontier, that they place an amazing blueprint and struggle like 10 minutes to put a path where it belongs.
It's just a problem with the game's design.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so to the people who played RST3, they will probably miss this feature a lot in Planet Coaster. It's custom billboards.
Hell yeah.
So that was a great way to customize your builds in RST3 to basically place a billboard, and you can import whatever image you want into the game and visualize it there. And you could make custom ride signs, custom park maps, custom whatever, basically. You had endless possibilities. And I think it should be possible because we can also import custom music. So why not let us import custom images?
Can I raise my hand for 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think that custom signs would be awesome. But if you have a custom sign, I don't think you should be able to blueprint it and put it on the workshop, because
yeah, basically handle it the same way as music.
Anyways, so all I have to say about billboards is if they ever did add it in any sort of a custom billboards, they would not be able to add it into the blueprint feature, because the capacity for trolling, the capacity for horrendous things to end up on the... Well, I'm not even saying indecent. Like, I'm not even going the, like, things could end up, kinky. I'm not even going that route. I'm going, like, I know the Roller Coaster Tycoon community, and I realize this is the Planet Coaster community, but there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of really freaky shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you gotta imagine, right? Like, in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I'm not sure if you guys, were into billboards.
I was an RCT2 guy.
But basically, I believe that the options for all the billboards were pointers, and that means that it points to a certain location on your own hard drive. So when you download a blueprint that would have the pictures in it, you would just see unexisting pictures, but you can download the pictures if they were real, and you could put them in there, or put your own pictures in there. So I think they could still be used in billboards or in blueprints. The billboards could still be used in blueprints, but you have to edit the pictures yourself when you download it, sort of.
Honestly, the reason why they did that is, in my opinion, not the fact that you could take copyrighted stuff or troll stuff. It's basically that another music file would add onto the file size, and they have a file size limit on the Steam Workshop. So they can't basically add any custom file onto it because they can't control it anyway. And I would think that goes for music, but also would go for images.
I don't know. I just want more fonts.
Well, if you have
Like,
stop,
just give us,
stop,
like,
but if you have
stop
images,
spoiling.
if you have images, you can actually do the fonts
a
yourself.
topic for later. That's
But
a topic
I
for later.
just want more fonts.
Stop spoiling.
Yes.
All right, so moving on.
Oh crap. Oh yeah, this is my topic, right? All right. So I wanted to talk about this thing real quick. It's bulk selecting paths, and it's basically that if you have a path, you have this whole system of paths, and you want to change it. Let's say you want to add a curb to it, or you want to change the texture of the path. You have to manually click every single piece of path, and it's really tedious, and it takes a long time. And if you could just like select with holding shift or something like that, select some path that is like all connected or whatever of the same type, and you could just change it in one go, it would help a lot. That's just what I'm thinking.
Click and drag.
Yeah, multi-selection.
Does that work? Oh wait, no, it doesn't work right now, but yeah, that would be awesome if you could do that. But you would also select like the if it were to work with the multi-select tool, it would also do it, all the scenery around it, so that would suck. But if you could just select all the path, it would just be amazing, I think.
Hold shift. Click drag.
Yeah.
Double click. There's a lot of different ways you could do it.
That would be amazing. I would be so happy. Yeah.
Honestly, the whole path should be a brush tool. So you can make bigger concrete surfaces, but I guess that's a topic for another one.
That's a topic that should have been brought up in the original design doc for the game.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
So the next one is my topic again. By the way, thanks for spoiling.
I actually didn't know this was in the doc, to be fair.
Yeah, read the doc before start recording.
Oh no, my secret's out. I don't prepare.
So custom fonts for science. For science, basically. Yeah. I think to avoid just basically the same like with custom music and pictures, it would be really easy to use Google fonts.
Why don't they just give us more?
Yeah, or give us more. Yeah, exactly.
You guys are obsessed with custom things. Just give us more. Fonts aren't that hard to license. Just license out, like, I don't know, like a couple hundred fonts and just give us fonts. Please. I mean, I don't need wingdings, but like, you can license a font for like $1.
But good fonts are like 30.
Yeah, as a private person.
Yeah, commercially, it's going to be a lot more.
Commercially, it's way more.
Valid point.
But there are at least standard fonts that you can get even for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that there are a couple of hundreds of them.
Google fonts.
Google, yeah. Google
Like
fonts.
Microsoft fonts.
No, but like, if we just get the billboards, we can just put our own fonts in there with Photoshop or Illustrator or something like that, and then you'd have every single font that you have in your computer.
Yeah, okay.
So the next thing is talking about minimaps and map modes.
Yes.
Okay, so what is meant by map modes?
Radfo?
I'll pass to pieces.
All right. So basically, my idea for this was you want the map mode like to be able to change the way you view, for instance, terrain. If you were making a tunnel or something like that, what I would like is just to have the thing that you have in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, 2, and 3 is basically the invisible terrain in which you can just see through all the terrain.
Yeah.
And then you can just like place things underground, and you can even make like a actual stone corridor or something like that. And then, you don't have to use like the T for the free look camera and just go through the tunnel and then place your scenery. But you can just go in, look through the scenery, look through the terrain and then just place your scenery everywhere.
Good point, but then again, the problem is that the terrain system of RT3 was not the same as it is in Planet Coaster, as we have a voxel system now. And I don't know how it behaves like that. There are other voxel-based games. I don't know if they have that option. Then it could be possible.
Well, could you have an X-ray kind of style where wherever you're looking, it turns to has like a brush so you can see through a select area.
You know, the entire surface. Oh, I'm sorry, just touched my mic right there. But the entire surface of like the entire topography of your map is all triangulated, so it's a mesh. And basically, what you could also do, instead of having it a texture smoothed mesh, basically, you could just take out all of the texture, make it like totally alpha see-through, and then keep it a wireframe so you can actually see what you're doing. That way, you could actually like.
Isn't it a skybox out of the main area, so it'll be kind of difficult to carry on the X-ray through?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need an X-ray for outside your map.
But wouldn't it look quite weird just having a big square of just X-ray and everything else is normal?
Yeah, but you're only working.
But that was the same in RST3.
In a game where you have free camera movement, why do you need to be able to see through stuff?
Because sometimes the free camera movement still is very tedious when you're placing scenery and stuff, and you just have to move back and forth.
Yeah,
it is.
And especially like for us who create like videos of building, if you're creating like a time lapse and you move the camera around like every couple of seconds, if you speed it up like 800%, it just goes all over the place, and then it's really annoying to watch. So that's just one of the things that I'm thinking about.
I don't know how that would work in the game, like rendering wise. Still. Like, I don't know how you'd do that cleanly, except for maybe a toggle that just makes all walls transparent, but they've talked about transparent, why that would be a problem already, so wouldn't...
Maybe you could select an area and that area will go transparent. So if you have like a brush tool again, and it will just transparent that area.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Frontier stated that making things transparent is really hard?
Didn't they say like glass is very difficult? Maybe they were thinking like refraction and stuff? That's very difficult.
Exactly.
But I don't think they would actually ever do that. Like, that's just, for a game, that's just not necessary.
Why does Planet Coaster need a minimap?
Minimaps? Oh, we need a minimap because, well...
Why?
Because it's awesome. It's just, in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and like the other roller coasters, I just use it all the time. It's really cool to like see your map like you would when you're just holding a map, I suppose like that.
Is it like actually something that you use for building? I'm actually kind of curious.
The only thing I'd want a map for is being able to put it on a billboard. That's the only thing I can think of it being cool for, like inside the map.
I don't think that map is actually meant by that. The map in RST was RST 1, 2, or 3 was basically also great for management, because you could visualize the behavior of peoples, how they walk in the park, how crowded it is at some areas and stuff. And as the game doesn't have a lot of management features, I think something like a minimap would be a great addition.
Yeah, and next to that, like, I also used the minimap to view how I was building the park. Like, when you have a lot of scenery in your park, it can get a little messy to see where all the dark rides and all the coasters are. And if you could, like, have a minimap where you just turn off all the scenery and you can really see, like, highlighted where the rides are, you can look at the ride density in your park and decide whether or not, like, to add another ride in a piece of the park. Like,
would you want it to be a live map as well, like showing where people are in the map? So having
Yes.
like a heat map of people as well.
That would be perfect, yeah.
Yep. And also, like, maybe the employees and stuff, like, really, like, the management stuff, in like Bear said, that would be amazing. Just to be able to see, like, where everyone is. And maybe even, like, brush to where, like, certain mechanics or, like, handymen are actually allowed to clean and stuff.
I'm just like biased against this one, I guess, because I've never really found minimaps useful in any game, with the exception of maybe City Builders.
That's a fair point, yeah.
I've never found it useful in RCT 1 and 2.
You can transfer to this game.
No,
as well,
I mean, no,
probably.
you totally could. You totally could. I've never used them. I didn't actually know that the game had a minimap in it until I returned to the game in like 2005.
Maybe that's why I didn't use it. then.
Yeah.
But like I still don't use it. So I don't know. I used the what I would always use to figure out where there was problems with guests or traffic, as I would look at the guests' moods in the mood menu. Let's filter it to the top.
But okay, that's another topic for another episode.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, Blind, it's yours.
So this is something that popped into my mind a little while ago. And I couldn't figure out exactly how it could work, because a viewer of mine popped into my channel. His name's Fragged Your Mom. And he stated he hates Planet Coaster. And I asked him why he hates Planet Coaster, straight up, because he likes these types of games. He plays a lot of them. And he said he did not like Planet Coaster, and he refunded it because he just wants to play in Sandbox mode and build a pretty park. That being said, he wants to play with money turned on. Now, to the advanced player or somebody who's playing a game or playing Planet Coaster, and you have money turned off, it's very easy to, download a bunch of stuff from the workshop and just insert it into your park. Now, the cost of these items quintuple exponentially when you have adfo tier of stupidity of polygons stacked on polygons of polygons and polygons of polygons. Anyways, when you have like a billion windows making a wall, stuff gets expensive to build with money turned on. So I propose when you start a sandbox map, there's a cat that really wants my attention right now, so she's making noise. Anyways, when you start a sandbox mode map, it gives you a little menu, and that little menu gives you a bunch of options. So things like guests prefer intense rides, guests prefer small rides, money on, money off, scenery costs money, scenery doesn't cost money, only rides cost money. So, for example, you could start a sandbox map which has money turned on, but all the scenery and land manipulation is free, type thing. So you could download as much stuff from the workshop as you want and have absolutely no problem just building it in your park and making a beautiful looking park while still having the light management game on top of it. It's just a thought, just having modifiers for sandbox mode I think would be great.
Okay, so
yeah, I would say like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I would say have a actual like scenario editor, because there isn't one. And if you could like make a custom scenario, you could like put these settings in. But if you had to go through all these settings every single time you make a sandbox park,
that'd be hell.
Not really. And the reason I say not really is like SimCity 3000 had stuff like that. Like old SimCity 3000. When you'd start a new city, you'd select your difficulty, which would show how much money you want. Like all you need is an advanced button. That's literally all you need. Like I play RimWorld, right? RimWorld you can tweak everything about how your game starts. Everything from the items you start with to the type of map you start on. You could go just like random default and have a game going in like under a minute. But for the players who want, you can spend like upwards of an hour designing everything that you bring with you, everything that you do, everything that you start with. And I think that would be great, because you're going to be in a park for, I don't know, upwards of 100 hours in some cases. Might as well set it up the way you want.
But if I get you right, you were sort of forced to take those options in SimCity 3000 before the game. And did you like that, or did everyone like that? Because arguing from your side as a casualist, I start the game and I want to hop right into it. And if I think of Sandbox, I think of, okay, great, I can start. And I don't think fuck, I have to select this,
okay.
And I don't even know what this meant by this. And I think what Brian said by that, making a scenario editor where you can, as an advanced player, just edit a scene as you would like to be it, and then have it like a save file and open it as a sandbox, would be the perfect way.
But what Blind also said, right, is like if you just have an advanced button, so like normal sandbox will be exactly the same as right now, but if you just like press the advanced, then you can change it. Maybe that's also a good idea. But
basically the way I'm proposing, you select your map type, right? And then it just says, it pops up with a window and it just says start or advanced.
Okay. That would.
And then you click advanced and you can change everything. Start, it's exactly the way it is right now. And it popped into my mind really when they added in security, and when you were talking about how you wanted to be able to turn off security. Security would be an option in there, in my opinion, And then like you could go even more in depth, say guests don't need food, Guests just ignore food altogether.
Yeah, and they don't need to go to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah. Stuff like guests don't vomit.
It'd be good if you can save presets as well, though. Because instead of having to redo that every single time.
Yeah. You could make an easy mode preset, for example, which would just have money on, but all rides are the only thing that say cost money, and then everything else is free, and guests don't care about intensities or ratings or anything, and they're just happy all the time.
Then you're almost talking about like cheats and stuff. I would say like
almost
plop like unlimited chain lift speed in there as well. Just go for it.
It's Sandbox.
Yeah. Exactly.
Give us options to make the sandbox the way we want the sandbox to be. Let us add and remove mechanics. We still have the light simulation mode. I don't know about you guys, but I don't if I'm playing in Sandbox, I personally don't even like building mechanics. I get that's one of the reasons I never open my park when I'm playing in Sandbox. If I'm playing like legit, then yeah, I want to build mechanics and stuff. But if I want guests to go in my park, my rides are constantly breaking down. It's the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but playing with money turned on, I immediately get irritated when land manipulation costs money. Immediately.
To be honest, that's the reason, or one of the reasons why I play in Sandbox mode. And to be honest, me personally don't see the point to change the parameters of your sandbox. But as I said, that's only me. I could see if people would like to see that, but playing devil's advocate here, I don't think that's very efficient. I mean, that's for Frontier to put the manpower into stuff like that, because I never heard about people complaining about this besides your one case. So let's say it's 1 in 100 players who really like the feature.
Can you up it to 2? Because I would play with money on it.
Okay, then 2 in 100, still not a very good quote, but on the other hand, everything we say is basically, the question how many people would really want this feature or would benefit from this feature. So I should stop talking now.
The best idea is just to do a poll. Basically, every single important thing. If you want to know how many people want it, just do a poll.
Actually, we should do that for this episode.
Yeah.
Just make a straw poll.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we will have a straw poll in the description.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Resolved.
Another thing for Adfo to do.
Anyways, are there any more topics?
Nope.
We should rename the show to Crushing Everybody's Hopes and Dreams.
That's the second time you propose to renaming the show.
Well,
just
every episode
just for
now.
the record.
I'm just going to continue doing this.
Every episode.
So it's now the Free the Bear, Be's a Nerd, and Crushing Hopes and Dreams. The show.
Blind, I've got an idea for you.
Blind, shut up, the show.
Anyway, guys, we introduce ourselves once again for listeners just joining. You're late.
Don't skip around the video.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm @4TV. You can find my stuff on YouTube, and you can reach out to me on Twitter. And yeah.
My name's Greg. The internet calls me blind. I stream management games on Twitch, and every other week I host a Planet Coaster Spotlight live on Twitch with Cleave TV. There's usually information about that on Reddit and pinned on my Twitter.
So I'm Lucas, also known as Free the Beer, and I do YouTube mainly, and also active on Twitter and forums.
And I'm Faros, usually on Twitch, Twitter, a bit of YouTube, but not a lot recently. Gonna be back soon. Look forward to it, please.
I'm Piece of Prestige, and you can find me on YouTube. I do videos, and you can tweet me at Dutzy_Brian.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching and listening. As usual, if you have any topics you want to suggest, just type it in the comments down below this video. And thanks. See you next time.
If you want to tell any of us why we're wrong, leave it as a comment as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And participate in the straw poll.
Exactly. And check out the straw poll. So, bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.